And Atlanta News First brings you team coverage of Hurricane Ian's impact. Let's start with Atlanta News First reporter Adam Murphy live in Charleston, South Carolina, where Ian made landfall this afternoon. Good evening, Adam.
Well, good evening. I'll tell you what, Hurricane Ian did a number here in Charleston, South Carolina, at least a couple of inches, maybe 6 inches of water that we've been wading through out here. And you'll see roads are closed. In fact, at last check, police here in Charleston reported 24 roads that have been closed in this area. And I also want to show you some of the homes over in this direction. Water has receded somewhat, but was right up next to many of these homes here in Charleston on Ashley Avenue. Now, earlier this afternoon, the relentless rain and wild wind gusts created havoc on the coastal city. At the height of the storm, wind gusts reached about 60 miles per hour, dumping several inches of rain in just a couple of hours. And while most people hunkered down inside their homes when the storm came through, we did spot a few guys wading through the neighborhood on river rafts, and we noticed that floodwater was a few feet deep in some low-lying areas. Still, one local guy spoke with us and said conditions here are not as bad as expected.
It's not really something unusual. Even when there's a huge, just storm in the off season, it's, honestly at some points not worse than this, but a lot more aggressive. This is, a lot more mild.
Now, the bulk of the rain is over here, still some wind bursts, but not so bad anymore. It will take at least a day or two for this water to recede in this area. They have some barriers that are trying to at least keep people out. You see some folks way back there. I want to point them out, kind of wading through this area. We have noticed that throughout the day. People trying to assess what the damage is, and it will take a good day or so for the water to come completely down, and then everybody can get back in their homes and really kind of assess how much that damage has done. We are live in Charleston, South Carolina. Adam Murphy, Atlanta News First.
It was 5 hours of just pure hell.
Yeah, giving you an idea of what a nightmare it was. Florida natives in Fort Myers agree this is the worst hurricane they have ever seen. And it is now one of the deadliest. At least 21 people were killed in the state, the most hurricane deaths in Florida since 1960. And it could be one of the costliest in U.S. history. New data shows Ian may have cost as much as $47 billion, billion with a B, in insured losses. And that would make it the most expensive storm in Florida's history. Atlanta News First reporter Patrick Quinn, he's been on the ground for us all week long, and he is live in Northport, Charlotte right now. That's just about 30 miles north of Fort Myers. And Patrick, I used to work in that area. I know the people there, and I know it is a very low-lying area and prone to flooding. Can't even imagine the devastation there.
Tracy, tons of flooding, and in fact, so many people just today were able to get back and see their homes firsthand. Now, you mentioned the finances. I want to stay on that just for a moment. For some residents, they were begging me, saying, FEMA, we need your help. We need your help right now, and you'll see why. This community just behind me, there are 800 homes. You're seeing some cars drive by, taking a look, and you're seeing a lot of twisted metal. These are roofs. These are sides of houses. These are chairs, tables, debris, and nearly every single home in this community. Roughly 70% of these 800 homes, they were affected by Hurricane Ian. Some residents told me that the hurricane had just sat over this city for roughly 4 hours, and it's going to take a lot for it to recover. And of course, power is out. I mean, a lot of these roofs and homes, they've actually, if you pan over, you can just see this twisted metal. I'm going to have my photographer pan past these two trucks. It's sitting right here on that power pole. So it's going to take a long time for power to be restored in this area. Yes, that is a roof that you're looking at, just twisted, wrapped around that power pole. 80% of this area is still without power, so it'll be a few more days. We have seen a lot of power crews out today, and we'll continue to monitor it. But so much flooding in this area, it finally receded today. We saw a lot of washed out roads, and now for the first time, evacuees there returning home, and they're returning home to this new reality that they are now facing. We'll continue to bring you live reports throughout the evening, but this is what Northport looks like. One of the first hit, one of the hardest hit areas after Hurricane Ian. Live today in Northport, I'm Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.